Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the free to play account, and I want to look at an event that a lot of people really do take for granted or overlook when we start looking at the event. And this one does come around quite frequently, which is the new good. So this will give you the ability to actually reset the shop. Now, as a free to play player or even a newer player to AFK Arena, this is going to make a really big difference because you'll realize that pretty quick you do have enough gold to get everything, but you're missing the rest of the resources when it comes to summons, when it comes to diamonds, when it comes to getting and building everything out. The shop refreshes are something that you do not want to miss or really take for granted. So let's go shopping over here, looking at the store. Now, right off the bat, when you look at this, I want to break down kind of the logic and the reason behind why we're buying things in here and really the methodology behind it. When you start looking at right here with our time emblem, this is 100% an absolute priority. You have to buy these time emblems every single day. When we start looking at the awakened heroes, they are some of the strongest heroes within AFK Arena. And getting the time emblems out of here, especially if you are free to play, is really the only way to get them in the entirety. Now, when we start thinking of diamond utilization in early game, I would use diamonds a lot more for summons. When you start getting to really more towards a mid, probably even late game, I would start looking at maximizing some resources. And really, the way that I would do this is arcane staffs. Now, as much as players do not like collections at all, and I know the Ghoulish Gallery can be very fickle when it comes to going in there and doing your summons and getting those tomes, everything else, but it is either going to be you're picking up arcane staffs to be able to build out some collections, and collections are pivotal for advancement. If you're looking at some of the collections and really some of those prime getting those, +2, +3 level collections, you have to have arcane staffs to get the totems. There are very minimal to almost no way to get them short of buying them with diamonds. That is why I even recommended in the new player guide, we were talking about the arcane staffs and getting them again a little bit earlier with diamonds. But starting early game, getting even into a little bit of the multi-teams, 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams, I probably would stay away from them because I would rather have heroes than having the actually going in there and having some RNG for collections. So I would build the heroes out before I go in there and I get the staffs. Now, when you start hitting kind of the stride into mid, again, kind of going into late game, it's going to be about baits. Now, when it comes to baits, once you hit Beast Resonance 18, you really don't need to worry about it anymore. Any new beast that is released throughout AFK Arena and all the current ones you will have at 18, meaning you're unlocking all of their skills and abilities, really makes a big difference getting those beasts built. And as we continue to see newbies, they do have a lot of effective beasts that have come out in the past, meaning a baits would be, and I know the cost itself would be a good thing to kind of get over time. Once you have the Beast Resonance 18, I would probably switch over to the Elemental Cores. I know a lot of people are on kind of both sides of the fence with these, with actually buying them out. Are they worth the diamonds? It gets to a point where you do have a majority of the heroes within AFK Arena, and then you're looking for a couple other places where diamonds can be utilized to make some more progression. And of course, looking again at the arcane staffs, the cores, and the baits, you will use them for a majority of the gameplay. Now, when we start looking at gold iteration, and honestly, even looking at the bottom here, I would not, and I do not buy anything with diamonds at all out of this bottom. I don't buy red chest. I don't buy any of the 8-hour essence. I don't buy anything in here. But when it comes to the pre-order, you are going to buy the hero essence. This is something you are going to buy every single day. This is something you are going to buy forever in AFK Arena. Whether you're an account like me that is 30 plus days or an account like my YouTube account that is 6 years plus, I buy the hero essence out every single day. The exact same with our poke coins. Poke coins, of course, the main form of currency, and honestly, the only form of currency to actually use it in the Oaken. I don't know if they're planning, or there might be a day where they do release something else. But when you're going in there with the poke coins to actually summon furniture, this is really the only way to get furniture. And of course, with new hero iterations, with new hero releases, poke coins and furniture will forever be used. And that is kind of the same with the primordial and the amplifying emblems. Now, primordial and amplifying emblems will rotate out of here on the day-to-day, which we'll see in just a minute with the reset. But overall, you're going to buy these, and you're going to buy them to the point of having, a ton of them, because you'll get to a point where you get gold and you're accumulating gold every single day. You never seem to run out of gold. It's either hero EXP that you run out with really at the point where this account is, or it's essence that you're kind of always chasing. But there will be a point where every hero that has to go to an SI 20 or an SI 30 or an SI 40, you're going to have the primordial and the amplifying emblems to get there. So, absolutely all three of those I buy out every single day. Now, in addition, you can also get the elemental shards. Now, again, when you start thinking of new hero releases, elemental shards are always going to be required from that 0 to that 30. Even thinking of base heroes, when you're running heroes through the towers, even maybe not meta heroes, but more heroes that you're using at different places, different tower formations. Elemental shards, very similar to those primordial and those amplifying emblems. You're going to end up using them everywhere. So, looking at our pre-order list, there's a few other things in here. Of course, we have our time emblems. Then we look at both of these stones. So we have our elite stones right here, and then we also do have or the superb elite and the elite stones. These are the two you want to have in addition to that time emblem. The reason being, when you start looking at this stone right here, which is, I believe, the Superb Elite, this is going to give you the ability to possibly bring and summon an Awakened hero out of here. Same with the Elite Stones. This gives you the ability to get a Celestial and a Hypo. That is really going to make a big difference. If you get lucky and with a little bit of RNG, you can pull. And honestly, I've always looked at this at the more times that you have and the more stones you have is the bigger chance or the higher probability of getting those heroes in there. Like I said, the gold items, we do buy these out. I don't buy any of the enhancement items. They come in time and then they swap scrolls. You get gear in time. Not really too worried about either of those. Want to make sure again that we're not really running out of gold. So we'll confirm this. We'll do our quick buy. It is going to cost us 500 diamonds a day unless we do have some of those stones. 16 million gold. And even looking here, guys, 16 million gold to buy what we just bought. We have 634 million gold and not a lot of place to use it. But like we were talking earlier with the shop refreshes, we can go ahead, we can refresh this for free. Then we can do the quick buy again, getting another 500 essence, primordial, and we are getting the shards as well as the poke coins. Another 16 million right there. Boom, reset number 3, doing the exact same. Now we're getting our amplifying emblems, as you can see right there. That means we're getting the primordial to take them up to that plus 10, also picking up the amplified to get to that plus 20. These are what we're going to use every single time that we're building up a new hero. Very, very imperative to get. Now, within the guild store, you can see we focused on, and really the refresh pretty much everywhere else doesn't have a huge difference unless you're sitting on a crazy amount of resources. But out of here, again, newer player. Number one, you want to prioritize getting these time emblems as a newer player. Then looking at the draconic insignias, within a month time frame, you can buy them all. We can see we still do have essentially another 9 days of resources. And then you'll go in and you will get these Hildwyn shards until Hildwyn is completely maxed out at 5 stars. And really, honestly, I don't know if I'd take him that far. Even if you take him ascended to 1 star, then you can get Eugene, take him ascended to 1 star, and then really go back and buy these. But again, the draconic insignias and the time emblems are going to be your absolute priority. So within the barracks, you can see we bought out all of these stones like we have. Still have another 2 weeks. Down here, you can pick up a little bit of essence. And this is how I actually did it on my YouTube account. Was going in, once I do have all of the stones, then we switched over. We bought all of this essence out. The reason being, you're getting to a point where building up that elder tree does have an impact on your heroes. Again, it's going to take a long, long time. Very similar to Bates, very similar to the Elder Tree. It is going to be a very big extended amount of time before you actually get that built out. Now in here, I did pick up Robin Hood. Some people do recommend picking up Joan instead of Robin Hood. Honestly, picking up one or the other is really well worth it. And then of course, just for the fact of collections, Legendary Bizarre Totems. These are again, something, unfortunately, they're so rare to ever see, so rare to ever get. Even looking at the refresh that we just did, didn't even have the ability to pull really anything that we needed in there. But after that, after we do get our dimensional hero, these will actually turn to emblems of space. We know we're going to need them for Shahan. We know that we're going to need them for Sun Jin Woo. But you can see, guys, a new account, this resets every 14 days. It is going to be a long time before I can actually go through here and continue building these out and getting to the point of having all of these copies of the hero in the entirety. And then Challenger Store, Only one you want to focus on here, which again, it does have a refresh, but it's kind of funny because nobody used the refresh in here. But you want to build out Alna. Alna is the one, and I'm wondering if we do have enough within here to build out Alna, which looking at the 2000 right there, we do. We do have enough to build out Alna. So taking her up just a little bit further, I believe this is the second copy that we have seen of her. But boom, that is going to be the copy again, sold out. 22 hours on the refresh, so pretty good with that overall with the build. Now, we also did get that free copy of Nox out of the event we have going on right now. But again, the store is a place that you can get an incredible amount of resources. Even looking right here, guys, we're already up to 257. If you caught the video yesterday, we did hit the 240 mark. We had a new code that came out. And then, of course, we farmed. Once we were on 220, but we hit 240. Then we've taken it all the way to 257. Even looking at probably all the chests, everything that we got today, might be even able to push this up a little bit further. Maybe even going, yeah, we're very close to another level on there. That'll take us to 258. But due to that, we've already pushed through a lot more floors within the towers itself. We actually knocked out all of the Forsaken Necropolis, even have 20 more here. So we did go through 60 floors of the World Tree. And then, of course, in the Tower of Light, we have 36. Knocked out a lot of those. Bruta Citadel, the exact same. We just had the 20 floor refresh that happened. So we have a lot more floors to push through here. And of course, to push through here and really do it effectively, the big thing in here is levels. Getting the heroes, you can either do it one of two ways. Number one is going in here and building out a lot of these heroes for all of these different towers. And when you do build them out, it's going to make a big difference in progression. But the biggest thing that is going to be the biggest factor adding on a lot of stats with that 5-hero team is levels. When you start either, again, really fine-tuning, building in, honing in on the heroes themselves, or focusing on the resonating crystal and pushing a lot of levels, if you get high levels, it will equate to stronger heroes. Stronger heroes will actually be able to push through a lot of content pretty quick. So I definitely like exactly how the account is progressing and where we're kind of going through. So Tricia, and again, we just got, if you've seen, we got Liberta built up all the way to that plus 20. Once we do finish out Randy, which I believe we did all the way to a plus 30, now we're going to swap over. Liberta is going to be the focus. Going up any higher, all of our resources are now going to be used for him until we do hit that plus 30. So even there's plus 22. Got him up to Mythic. Going to continue building him all the way up to Ascended 1-star. And we're doing the exact same with Envy. We need one more copy of Envy and he will be Mythic. Absolutely, both of them big heroes in the AFK arena. Absolutely do require those signature items as well. We've been focusing on building those out. And also the regular tower, doing the exact same. We have farmed a lot of the King's Tower already to 478. And as a result of that, we did get a lot of stones. Going to do some summons, going to do a lot of different things tomorrow. But we have 12 elite hero stones, again, farming it out. We have that copy of Alna. We also do have a lot of rare stones. Farm the towers. I cannot stress it, and I know I do say it a lot. Make sure that you're farming the towers on a regular basis, because it even yielded me 60 Stargazer scrolls just going through and again farming all of those floors in the tower. I'm going to do the exact same tonight. I'm going to go ahead and farm the tower a lot more, pushing a lot more of the content. But as we go through here, Dragon Isle, even on the reset, I believe again is going to give us some resources. Since we can only get through that first floor, and we know that's exactly where we are. I thought about picking up the insignias, and I know I'm not going to get to stage 5. So what do we got? 6 more days. So we're going to have a refresh in the shop in 6 days. Oh, I really want to buy these. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Now, unfortunately, we're going to be a little bit shy in getting these because of the reset next time, but that's okay because next month we'll get them. Clearing all the way to stage 5 is going to take a considerable amount of time. And of course, I'm only using Draconic Scrolls in here. I'm not using anything else in the entirety. All of these we're saving. We're already up to 130. So, I mean, a couple different places that we picked them up. But remember, it roughly takes around 700 Draconic Insignias to get the heroes, guys. So we have a very long runway to actually pick those up. Summons slowed down quite a bit with the summons, but you can see we have 10 of those faction scrolls. Also do have 10,000 diamonds, so definitely going to do some summons tomorrow. Also have those 60 scrolls on the weekly reset. So overall, I'm still doing and pretty impressed with how we've been making progression, even looking at the Golden Frontier. 2 more days left, and we have been crushing it in here, guys. Definitely wanted to talk about this for a minute because If you look at the map itself and where we're at, you can see we are green, and we have been moving and we have been pushing all of the players out of every other place within AFK Arena. I mean, look at the middle. This is all us. We have broken out of uh every single place in here, every single town, every single thing. Nobody is left alive. They killed 39 enemies. The Golden Oak, even looking at the city, there's nobody, even no contest in here for what we're fighting or what we're defending. You can see everyone has been pushed out of the Golden Domain, and we're almost to the point of pushing them out of this second section as well, which again is pretty crazy to think, but it definitely went down pretty well for the version that I did. I know a lot of players are not liking it at all, but we did incredibly well going through the content in there, pushing a lot of the teams out and making it really work. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.